Hey everyone, welcome to Be Developers. In today's tutorial, we'll be diving into Flutter to create a mobile app that can access the device location. Whether you are building a location based app or just curious about Flutter development, this is the right place for you. So let's get started. Before we dive into the code, make sure you have the Flutter and Dart installed on your machine. If you haven't already, check out the official Flutter documentation for installation instructions. So let's create a Flutter project. Command Shift P, and we will create a new Flutter project. For location service, we will be using location package. So let's import the location package. You can directly go to pubdev and search location, or else you can come here inside the dependency section and add location. This will automatically add the location package in your pubspec.yaml, so you don't need to go to the pubdev and copy that and paste it here. You can directly do from here. With the dependency added, let's deep dive into the code. Open your main.dart file and we will do some changes. Let's run the app first. So now our app is running. So let's change some UI part to show the current location. We will add two text widgets, one for latitude and another for longitude. So let's add that. So I'll remove this all scaffold and this body and body center, and I'll put column, and then I'll put one text field that will show the latitude of the user, and second will be our longitude of the user. Now I want these to be in the center of the screen, so I'll give main axis size will be minimum, and then I can directly call center widget to make it center like this. And also I'll increase the size of these two text field. So I will add the label dot headline small property to make it their size bigger, and also I'll do the same for longitude. This const not needed now. So let's we have added the location package in our pubspec. I'll also use getx for state management, so let's add getx also, so you will better understand how to use location with the state management. That's why I'm adding getx also. Let's wait for a second, and here you can see when I am using this, I can directly import in our pubspec. I can directly import that dependency in our pubspec without going to the pub.dev. Okay, so what I will do, I will create two files, one for controller, that is state management, and second is for the location service. So let's create two files. I will create one src folder. Inside that I will create a controller slash location controller.dart, and also I will create one more folder called services slash location.dart, location service dot. So first we will move into the location service. I will create a class called location service, and inside this I will create a constructor named constructor, and I will also create an instance of this class, and I will initialize it with the constructor. Okay, now inside this location services, to access the location, first we need to check whether the location service is enabled in the user phone or not. Like, user can disable the location from here, and whenever you are trying to get the location of the user, you must check whether the location is enabled in the user phone or not. So to do that, we have to check the services is enabled or not. So I will create one function called future. It should make sure it should be async because we are using the future. And also one more thing we have needed, we need a instance of our location class, location dependency. So I will create a location dependency instance, Now what I'll do, I'll check the service whether it is enabled or not. So I will use location, that is this instance dot service enabled. It will return me the boolean. Okay, so I will hold it inside a boolean variable is enabled, and I will wait until it will get the service enabled values. So I will check if is enabled. If it is enabled, then I will return future dot value true. If it is enabled, then okay. Otherwise I will request user to enable the service. So I will use service request service. Okay, so this request service will again return this boolean. So I will again override this, await. Make sure you remove this final. Now I will again check if it is enabled. So if it is true, then user has enabled the service for us. So we will return future dot value true. If user doesn't want to allow the location service and he clicked cancel button, then we will simply return future dot value equal to false or error. Okay, now why this is required? Suppose user has disabled the service in his phone, and whenever we try to get the location, it must that service must be enabled. Okay, so we will check whether the service is enabled or not. If it is enabled, then we can access the location. Okay, and if the service is not enabled, then we will ask the user to request the service. We will ask user to enable the service. If he clicks OK, then we will return yeah, service is enabled, we can access the location. Otherwise we cannot access the location because the service is not enabled. So we will prompt the user that location is not enabled. Okay, so instead of this error, we will type location service not enabled. Now enabling service and checking service is done. Now we can move to the permissions. So basically this function is used for enabling the location in the device. Now we have to prompt user to allow us for that location. Okay, so let's create one more function called get location. Whenever we want to access that location, we must check whether the user has provided us the permission or not. Otherwise our location will not work, and it may happen that our app will crash. Okay, so let's check for the permissions. So to check for the permission, this location class, this one, has one property called has permission. This will return us a permission status. Okay, so I will hold it inside a permission status. Now what I will do, if status equal to permission denied, that user doesn't have provided us a permission to access the location, so we will simply return. So in this block what we will do, so we got the status that the user doesn't allowed us a permission to access the location. So what we will do, we will create we will ask the user for a permission. So location dot request permission, this function we will call. So this will again return a status. Okay, so we will hold it inside a status that we have created above, this one. Now we got the new status, correct? So we will check if status is again granted. If it is granted, then we will return that, because we don't want to get below over this. I'll rename this as a check for permission. Okay, this will also a boolean, and we will return true, return false. Okay, now we got our access, so we will add a code here, access the location. Here we will access the location of the user. But we have to handle more criteria, like if it is denied, we are returning the false. It may happen that status will be, we have to handle more criteria. So we will check again if status equal to permission status dot denied forever. Now we will simply return, because user has denied the location permission, and he doesn't want to allow us permission at all. If the status falls under this condition, then you whatever you can do, you cannot access the permission from the user. Okay, so what you can do, you can prompt user that why your permission is needed. Okay, and what will affect if you doesn't allow the permission. Okay, so you can simply show the dialog or the snack bar like this. I will show the snack bar. Get dot snack bar. So now we have shown the status why this permission is needed with the description. Now whenever the user, you can show the dialog will be a better choice, where you can show the title like permission needed and the description of the permission. And then whenever the undo button will be there called cancel and OK, and if he clicks on OK, just open the setting for enabling the permission. Okay, for our app. Now why we are doing this, because if you want to if you want to need that location and user denied it, but still you need it, correct? So you have only one choice to open the settings, and from there it need to be enabled, because system will not show, because this is denied forever, so system will never show a pop-up to enable the location. So in this condition you need to open the setting, and from there they can enable. So now if you directly go to the settings, whenever this denied forever is there, whenever this condition falls and you are directly opening the settings, at this stage when you upload your app to the Play Store, it will reject, because you are forcing the user to access to get the location. So you cannot force the user for the location. So that's why we need a message why we have needed that location permission and what will be the uses. So in this way we can open the settings, and then from there the user can enable. So that means if you directly open the setting from here, then your app will be rejected from Play Store. Okay, so we need to show to the user why this is needed, and we have to politely ask user, sir, you need to enable the permission. That's why we have shown the snack bar or the dialog. Okay, so to open the setting we need one more package called permission handler. Now let's import a permission handler. As handler. Okay, one issue. Okay, now what I will do, handler dot open app settings. That's it. So this will open the app settings, and from there they can enable the location. If this status doesn't fall in these two conditions, then it means that user has already provided us the location, so there is no need to check other criteria. So we will simply return future dot value true. That's it. We can directly return true, but I have written as future dot value true. No issue, both are same. So here this is function for checking the location. Okay, now I'll create one more function called future. If you remember, I have already told, to access the location first we need to check the service whether it is enabled or not. So let's call our one function that we have created, check for service availability. Here if it is true, if it is false, we will simply return, because we cannot access the location until the service is enabled. Okay, so we will simply return. Okay, now if the service is enabled, so we have to check the permission, check for permission. Okay, if the location permission is not given to us, we cannot access the location, so we will simply return the false. So we will simply return. Okay, so these two condition we have checked, like if the service is not enabled, we will not access the location, and if the service is enabled and permission is not given, we will not access the location. And if these two criteria passes, then we can access the location. So location dot get location. So this will return us the location data, so we will hold it inside a location data. Okay, so this location data contains the current user location, where the user is. Okay, so we can directly print the latitude and longitude from here. Okay, so this is the data we want. Okay, so our location service file is ready. So let's create one so let's get inside this controller, and we will create a location controller class that can extend to getX controller. So now here what I'll do, I'll create one boolean variable, rx bool is accessing location. Bool false. Okay, and one more rx value I will create called location data. This can be null because there will be two criteria that I have already talked about, like user doesn't enable the services, or user doesn't want to give the permission. So this can be a null value. Okay, so location. You can use other state management like provider and other block if you want. The process will be same. Okay, so these two things are done. Now I will create one function called update is accessing location dot value equal to b. Void also I will update this value, update user location. It will give us a location data, and this user location dot value equal to data. Done. So our controller class is ready, so let's use it inside here. So inside this get user location, I will directly pass our location controller required. Whenever this function calls, that means we have started gathering the location, correct? So I will update the value, and when our service is not active, which means we need to disable because we cannot go further, and the same case falls here also, correct? Now put one description also. So get inside this location controller class and create one more string value, string, and description, error description. We can give error description, sorry, rx string should be there, and also this message. Okay, now this main dot where it is location service, we will go inside this error description and we will provide service not enabled. Now again we will copy this and give this message is used for the user to view notify the user why we are unable to provide the service. Permission not given. Permission not given. Now if we got the location here, so first we will update our user location variable that we have created inside this location controller. So we will update the user location with the data now. Okay, and we will also update this accessing location, update is accessing location to false. Here in the check for service availability, we can't return because we are checking boolean, so we cannot return this, so we will simply return false. Okay, so if we return the error, we need to add the try catch, and we haven't added try catch. Instead we use true false value, so we need to change there. Okay, so in this way we got our location. Got it? So let's implement inside our UI. So here what I'll do, final location controller that we have created, I will inject this dependency. And one more thing I have missed out, we need to add these two lines in our manifest file. So here one, and this second is this one we need to add. If we want to access the find location, then add this, otherwise this is fine. What is find location? That is, it is accurate. Okay, done. And for the iOS, we need to add permission in our plist file. So open iOS folder, and then inside this runner we need to add our permission here. Okay, so what you need to add, just go to location Flutter, and here open the first link. We are using this package. Okay, we need to add these two. Okay, so put in the last, it will be good. So inside this dictionary you need to create a key. You need to provide a string, and here we need to provide the description of this permission. Why we need this? We need this permission in order to provide a good service. Okay, so this thing is done. We have set up our things. Now we will run this app and see. Okay, this thing is done. Just go to main.dart, and here we have put our the location, we have put it the location controller. And here what I will do, I will call one init state method, and then here I will call location service dot instance dot get user location, and I will pass this location controller here, because in this function we are updating the states. Okay, so let's come inside here and create one builder obx, because we need to update the UI as well. So inside this location controller dot is accessing location dot value equal to true, then column children text accessing location, and above this we will put one circular progress indicator. That's it. Here we will also check one more value called location dot is error description we have created now. We will check whether it is empty or not. If it is empty, if it is not empty, and also we will check or a location controller dot user location dot value equal to null. Okay, if these two condition false, what is not empty, is not empty, yeah, correct. Then we will, what is the issue, isn't a widget. Okay, then we will simply return column children, and our value should be a text controller dot, that is location controller dot error description dot value. Okay, so till here we have done our things. Now if these two condition fails, that we got our location, so we will simply show the location. So we will simply show the location controller, location controller dot what will be the user location dot value dot latitude. Okay, so that's it. Let's save it and restart the app. So we got the prompt, and if I do don't allow, so permission not given, correct. And if I disable this setting and I'll do the restart once, so here you are this, because we have disabled the service, so it's telling us to enable the service. Okay, so if I do the no thanks, then service not enabled. Okay, again restart, and now we will enable the service. So again the prompt is shown to us, so we will click on OK. Then it will ask the permission, correct. So if I do while using the app, then it will get the location for me. So in this way you can ask the location from the user. So in the next video I am trying to implement the location feature with the Google Map. So in that we can access the user's location, and we will point a marker where the user is, like the Google Map, and also we will prompt the user, or we will ask the user where you want to go, and till that destination we will create a path. So the next video will be and very helpful for the beginners, who wants to learn the Flutter with the deep understanding of the getters and other state managements. So we will also call the APIs in the next video, so they can also learn the APIs. So if you want to get notified whenever I upload that video, just subscribe to our channel, and please make it reach 1K as soon as possible. And thanks for watching. We will see you in the next video.